Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pits of Motorcast. It's your host, Dave. I got online with me, Joey Haas. Hey, Joey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good, Joey. So you were out crewing this weekend at Great Lakes. How'd that go?
It went great. First pass, we went out there, went 573 with Jim Young's car, and actually reset our own track record that we had. And the second run was at night. It broke the tire twice, but it went 690 or something, which was good for the crowd. So it was good.
So Joey, what got you started in drag racing?
I was crewing with an alcohol dragster, Sean Evans, here in Central Illinois, and my dad was the clutch guy. I was probably maybe 10 years old, and just everything kind of fell into place, and my dad started driving for Justin Grant, and then we ran the Stardust and Wonder Wagon during 07, 08, 09, and then stepped out of that, and then Dad got into Frank Owsley's car, Ted Goose White Trash car, Henry Gutierrez's Brand X, and that just kind of slowly evolved. And then a guy here locally in Shelbyville, Illinois, Troy Salazar, let me get in his dragster, and I got my Super Comp license. And then the first car that Dad ever drove was for Justin Grant. We actually bought back from Mike Harrison in Arizona, and that was my first funny car. So it pretty much started in the early 2000s, and it just kind of evolved to what it is today.
So you said the first car you ever stepped in was a dragster?
Yep, I was 17 years old here at Coles County Dragway, which is here local in Central Illinois, and got licensed and went. It was a 560 car, and ended up he put a different engine in it and bigger blower on it, and ended up going for 492 was my first four, and drove that for a couple years here and there, a couple different tracks just to get some seat time, and then got the car I got now.
And how long you been driving a Nimrod?
This is the end of the third year. So this is the second year I had the coupe body on it. I did that last year, made 2 races with it, made 1 race with that coupe body at the Fuel Ultra Nationals, and this is the third year with the funny car.
And you said the Fuel Ultra Nationals, you did pretty good this year?
Yeah, we won that whole deal. I think we qualified number 3 or number 4 in the B field, which I go out there wanting to be in the B field. Those guys in the A field, they're definitely some heavy hitters. But the B field, it's good because it's our own group of guys. It's just, some slower cars, but still went 452 in the final, and it was a good experience for sure. A great accomplishment.
Now, with the Nimrod Blow alcohol funny car, you run with the Great Lakes Nostalgia funny car circuit?
Yep, Dennis Sells-Wimmer out in Ohio. He's the promoter and the head guy of it. And, there's probably 30 members probably total. We run all over pretty much the Great Lakes area, but we went to Nashville, Tennessee last year, and we'll have some 2 or 4 or 6 car match races around the Midwest, and the Funny Car Nationals was in Pittsburgh July 15th, and we had 31 alcohol cars out there. Did good, went 744, and then the second lap was 734. It's match racing like it used to be. There's long smoky burnouts and the whole works. It's what Dennis does is great, and we take that circuit with us kind of everywhere, and we'll be in Sikeston, Missouri at Jeffers Motorsports Park October 7th.
Yeah, I had Dennis on my show last year doing an interview.
Oh, he's a good guy. He does a heck of a job. He put into it, but it's definitely a good program.
And then I did an interview with Bill Anderson and Rocky Asik.
Oh yeah. We've known Rocky for a while, and I ran with him in St. Louis, just me and him, for a Ford show on July 8th, and he made the trip out to Pittsburgh, and everybody pretty much was out there, so we all kind of got together and was able to make 2 runs that day.
So how did Bill Anderson do over the weekend at Great Lakes?
It was good. I stayed so busy with Jim Young's car, but but I did see him run in front of us, because he's got a clutch car, so it's kind of, once you hear the RPM come up and roll into the stage, you kind of know whose car that is. But he was a couple pair in front of us, and I forget exactly what he ran. I think he ran 7.0 something one run. That car always runs good, and it looks good too.
Who did he go up against?
It was, I don't know the guy's name. It was I think a 70 Charger, a Hemi car. I don't exactly remember that guy's name. I think that's the first time I've ever seen that car.
I remember when I saw Bill back in May at Great Lakes, he was running against the Shake, Rattle Run.
Okay. I forget who he ran against last year, but I know he's normally always there when I go up there with Jimmy, whether it's Memorial Day or Labor Day. They've always got a couple alcohol cars up there, and then Doc Holliday and Baz Young with the Nitro cars, and they had Scott Galter and Motree there in the Fuel Altereds.
Yeah, you got to see those big header flames.
Oh yeah, that car definitely, there's some flames out there.
And he went against Nitro Madness, right?
Yep. Scott Galter with radar in the seat of that car.
So how did you come up with the name the Nimrod?
Before I got my car, me and Dad have been talking about a name to name one, just, thinking if we ever put a car together, and he had mentioned Nimrod, and it's actually biblical. It's Noah's great-grandson in the Bible. He was a successful hunter, and both me and my dad like to hunt a lot, really like to hunt anything, so I think the name was fitting, and half the time you got to be kind of screwed up to get in one of these cars anyway and do it week in and week out and pour your money into it and your time and everything. So it's probably pretty fitting in both ways.
Now you were at the World Series, right? Where your dad was racing up for John Lawson up there?
Yep, he drives that quick draw car, and that's always a good event. I'm glad to see it back in Cordova. The place was packed, and in the second round on Saturday night, Dad went 550 with a 4 at 263, I think, or 265 to John's 549 at like 268, and they were just absolutely neck and neck all the way down the track. And both of them cars, if you've never seen them in person, they're absolutely gorgeous. Just they're show cars, really, and they perform great. Everything John's got is just absolutely top notch.
Yeah, I was able to watch the Cordova live feed. So I saw it on live feed, the runs.
Yeah, they're a fan favorite. Them cars, they thump just like a pro car, but they look good like they used to. And when you get up close to it and that paint shines and sparkles, it's mind-blowing. The pictures don't do it justice at all.
Yeah, and they got some nice header flames coming off.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Baz Young tried adjusting his car now where he has more header flames coming out of his car. Yeah.
Those flames that Dad and John's got, they're wicked. They get up there 8, 10 feet, and they're big. On Jim, his car's got that smaller 21-gallon pump, so once it gets out there at 8th mile, we start to get a little header flames. Through the quarter mile, it gets up, a foot and a half, but it's a big difference in engine combination and, just overall volume of fuel.
So how many crew members do you have for the Nimrod?
I've got 3 to 4. I got a guy, Sean Rodman, he helps me a lot. Jared Lawrence, he helps me a lot here local. My girlfriend Elizabeth, my dad Joe. I got a couple guys here local that definitely help me. Because it does take a couple of guys. I try not to work on it a whole lot, but you just need bodies and you just need hands. It takes the whole group to make one of these things go, especially at the track and getting everything ready outside the car.
Now, do you do most of your own work on the car yourself?
Yep, I do it all. The machine work, I have that done, just because I'm not outfitted with all the equipment and I really need to do it. But as far as building the engines, me and Dad tear it down every year, go through it. Like I said, we're not really too hard on parts, so it's pretty easy on us. But we still go through all the maintenance and, preventative maintenance, try to stay ahead of the 8-ball.
So when you were young, what drivers influenced you?
Do what?
When you were young, what drivers influenced you?
Just looking at all the guys on TV, Ron Taps is definitely up there. He rooted for him once in Cordova. That was probably 2005. Mainly my dad, because to and from the track, it's just, you could talk about the run, whether it was a 5-hour trip somewhere or a 15-hour trip somewhere. I could just pick his brain, and he's drove so many things over the years that the experience and the knowledge is huge, and everybody we've been around has a bunch of experience, but just being able to talk about it all the time, or how he processes it, or how he drives it, or inside the car, outside the car, everything. He's done obviously good enough, and just a good person to learn from in general.
Joey.
Yeah.
It's Tanya. What's up?
Hey, how are you?
Good. So let me ask you, what's your favorite food?
Favorite toy?
She said favorite food.
Oh, favorite food. I'm a steak and potatoes kind of guy. Me and my girlfriend grill out a lot. Steak, potatoes, macaroni and cheese. That's it.
Hell yeah, I want macaroni and cheese right now.
Yep.
So, what's your favorite drink?
Mountain Dew for sure.
Hell yeah. You
always
like
drinking
me.
Mountain Dew.
Hell yeah, you're just like me, Mountain Dew. Anyways, so what's the fastest running time you done?
What kind of what?
What's your fastest running time?
With the Nimrod car, I went 734, 180, and then Tom Motrey's Drastic Plastic, my dad used to drive it, and I was fortunate enough to get my Nitro license in it. I went 543 at 233 on my first more moderate run, and then my last run I went 588 at 242. So speed would be 242, and ET would be 543, and a quarter mile at Joliet at Route 66.
So, let me ask you, how did it feel sitting behind a car the first time you ever sat behind a car?
It was different. There's not really a whole way to process it. It's just, it's like an extremely fast roller coaster that just never quits pulling. Or it's just like somebody grabs you from behind, or a school bus passes you and just has a rope attached, and then you're gone. And then the school bus is going 100 miles an hour, and then it just goes to 200 instantly. But being around it a whole lot, you let it soak in, and I don't know, you're kind of more prepared for it the longer you've been around it, but still nothing can really compare to what it's like.
Okay, Dave.
Now, Joey, can you tell us a story about how you prepare for a weekend of drag racing?
I go to work every day, pretty much. Take off a lot of Fridays, but it's just something you think about all day. You just kind of process it every day. It's like racing's on my mind every day, 365, whether it's the winter, December, or July, and we're going through the track. It's just, when you're involved with it so much, it takes over your whole life, sometimes too much. But you just kind of process it. You're constantly working on the car, or, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, getting stuff loaded. And then on the way to the track, it's kind of the peaceful part before all the chaos begins, and you just kind of sit back and along for the ride and process it. And then when you load everything up after the weekend, you go home, but that don't mean it's over, because then you got everything to do at home and to get ready for the next one. So you just kind of try to mentally think about it as much as you can through the week.
So what are your favorite tracks to run on?
I like the small hometown tracks that if you get 5,000 people in there, it looks absolutely packed. Joliet's awesome, but it's huge. If you get 50,000 people in there, it looks halfway full. The place is immaculate. It's a huge facility, but the small hometown tracks here at like Havana or Benton, Illinois, or Coles County, where you get 5,000 people that just come out of the woodwork, that live down the road and just breathe this stuff, you you really connect with them because, I mean, I'm just one of them. You know, I'm out there to have fun and for them to enjoy it, and I enjoy it. So you really do feed off your fan base, and whenever they can get really close to the car on the starting line and be packed to the finish line along the fan, that's the best part.
Yeah, that's a good thing about drag racing. The fans can have access to the pits and meet all the drivers.
Yeah, that's the best thing. It's far different than circle track for sure.
So do you have any sponsors currently?
I have a guy, Wayne Snarley. He helps me with my transmission, Snarley Racing Transmissions, and not to really toot his horn or toot my horn, but the transmission he built me has been absolutely bulletproof. I've went 960, 360 foot with it, been a lot of sub-10s, 990s. The thing has been flawless, and every time he takes it apart, it just looks brand new. So that's just a good one to have there. I have a lady, Krista Pearson from Charleston. She did all my graphics, the Nimrod on the car. She did the Nimrod on the coupe body. My trailer has blown alcohol funny car down the side of it, Nimrod Motorsports. She did all my vinyl work. And that's really all I have. I have a lot of people that help me with whether knowledge or anything. John Lawson, the guy that owns Dad's Car, he just opened the doors up to his paint booth when I went to paint that 34 coupe body I have. And he helps me out with a lot as much as he can. And everybody helps me out. But Wayne Snarley with that transmission, he's definitely hooked me up with a good piece there.
Now, on a race day, do you have any special eating habits, or you just eat regularly?
I don't eat near as much as I normally do. Normally it's hot, and you know that whenever it's really, really hot, it's like being at Six Flags all day. You just get beat down, and sometimes your nerves will get up, and it's just, I might eat half a sandwich or something, but then at the end of the night, when you're headed to the hotel or headed home, you sit in the air conditioner in the truck, and you get about an hour from the track, you're ready to eat everything in sight because it all catches up with you.
Okay, now this is like a fun question for you to answer. If someone were to give you $150 million to design a new drag racing track, where would you build it, and what kind of features would the track have?
We just talked about food.
I don't know exactly where I'd build it. There's not really a spot in the country that doesn't have a decent track. It would obviously definitely be quarter mile with a whole lot of shutdowns, so you could run absolutely anything on. I mean, Joliet's setup is nice. Got the big wraparound bleachers, really tall up to the eighth of a mile. It'd probably be somewhere in the south, whether it's probably the southern Midwest, around maybe Missouri or Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, somewhere around in there where it's not too hot but not too cold. Bakersfield, California, that track's awesome. Just the surface in general. It's prestigious and an awesome place with a lot of history, but it would definitely probably be state-of-the-art. That format's out there in Carolina, man. I've never been there, but the pictures, I'm sure, don't do it justice.
Now, since you've been drag racing, have you ever had any accidents or near accidents?
No, never took out a cone or crossed the center line or never touched the wall. Came close in Eddyville a few weeks ago. As soon as I took off, it rattled the tires hard and went left, and I got out of it, pointed it straight, and hit it again, and it slid all the way over to the middle. But at that point, I really had to let it relax, and then I rolled into it. Luckily, got the win for the first round, but that's the wildest it's ever got. But knock on wood, never crossed the center line or never hit the wall.
That's good. Now, if you were able to do time traveling, would you do something differently?
Probably not. I mean, there might be a few small things along the way you do different, but if everything didn't fall like it did, you know, it might not be the same now. So it's kind of take what I got and go with it, you know, and just make the best of it. But there's been some really, really good memories and stuff, so I'd probably stick with what I got.
Now, do you have any hobbies outside of drag racing?
Like I said, we hunt a lot, whether it's my dad goes to Wyoming every year to elk hunt, and I've been out there with him, or alligator hunt, deer hunt, geese, ducks, any waterfowl. I'd like to start hunting big game as far as buffalo and stuff like that. Fish a lot, and pretty much anything. Especially if it's loud and fast, any hot rod or any muscle car, classic car, anything like that. It gets my attention.
So what's your favorite music?
Definitely hard rock. I like Metallica's my favorite from there till today's stuff. Five Finger Death Punch, Breaking Benjamin, everything. But Metallica's definitely my favorite.
Now, when you're in the pits, do you listen to any hard rock music?
Yeah, every now and then we'll turn some on. I don't like it to get too crazy, you know, because you got a lot of fan base there. You got a lot of family, but it's definitely an upbeat sport, so I think some upbeat music goes pretty fitting. Definitely on the way to the track, it's hard rock, but then again, I mean, I do like country. I like the older country, 90s country. But on the way to the track, at the track, it's definitely something that's fast-paced.
You have a favorite vacation spot?
Well, my girlfriend would probably say it would have to be the drag strip because we ain't really been on vacation together. We went to California, went to the beach. As soon as we got done to the beach, we went to the March meet to crew with Jim Young. Alaska would be my vacation spot. I haven't been, but I will be. Alaskan cruise would be my number one vacation spot. I'm a guy that, I don't know, it's definitely during the summer. I don't want to go to Florida where it's hot. I'd rather go to Alaska. So Alaska would be it.
So what's your fondest memory so far that you've been drag racing?
Probably going out to Bakersfield. We went in 2008 with Dad. Stardust car, we didn't qualify, but just going out there in general was huge. Went out there with Jim Young here a couple of years ago. Maybe we'll go to the Hot Rod reunion this fall. The car's been running good, so I think we really got a chance to beat everybody out there. But just all the memories along the way. You know, we've been to Epping, New Hampshire. There's a lot of road miles, but I enjoy going down the road. It's definitely fun.
Now you want to run down the schedule for your Nimrod funny car and the altered car too for the rest of the year?
I've only got one left with the Nimrod car, October 7th. Sometimes there's stuff that pop up later in the year. Next weekend we'll be in Martin, Michigan for the Funny Car Nationals with both of John Lawson's cars. Dad and Lawson both will have two runs Saturday night, one run Friday night. We'll have a weekend off next weekend, and then Jim Young's car, that Young Guns Top Fuel Dragster, will be in Tulsa. I think that's the 22nd of September, and one weekend off after that, and then to Sykeston, Missouri with my car October 7th for a nostalgia deal. I think that'll finish the year off. Maybe I can talk Jimmy into going to the Hot Rod reunion in Bakersfield. I think that's the third weekend of October, so if that happens, we will be going to California.
Now, if people want to find your schedule online, what's the best way for them to find it?
I've got my page, just me directly. I've also got Nimrod Motorsports. I don't keep up with Nimrod Motorsports a whole lot. But if anybody messages me, whether it's on my page or the Nimrod page, I'll get to it very responsive. I try to keep up with my page for everybody out there, fans and spectators, everybody, friends and family. Try to keep that pretty much up to date where I'm going or what the forecast looks like of where everything's going. Mainly my page gets the brunt of it.
And they can go on the Grey Lakes Nostalgia Funny Car Circuit page too.
Yep, that's also got it. Dennis keeps it up to date pretty good. I don't know exactly what other deals we have going with that Great Lakes circuit this fall. They do some out in Ohio and Pennsylvania and stuff like that. But we will have that one October 7th. That is a Great Lakes circuit. I don't know exactly who I'm racing yet or how many cars are going to be down there. I just know I'm going October 7th.
So you have any last words for fans out there, Joey?
Well, it couldn't be possible definitely without everybody's help. You know, the people here that helped me, the people everywhere that's helped me. So definitely goes appreciated, and I appreciate you guys reaching out to me and doing this. I see that Mark White was on here, and Mark's been there and done a lot. That guy's got a lot of experience, and he can definitely drive the wheels off the car. It's obvious. I've seen it done. So what you guys got going is a great thing, and I appreciate it.
No, you're very welcome. We try to support you drag racers as much as we can.
Yeah, it's a fine line sport. You know, I think it's growing big time. But there's a lot of people and a lot of kids that just aren't into it like they used to be. You know, and I wish more people my age was into it, but maybe I can carry it on a little bit longer.
Sounds good. I want to thank you for your time for the interview, Joey, and I wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season.